All right, so it's here. The Titan Stump Bucket is here, and it's just a big old chunk of steel with some serrated edges on it, and nice thick piece of steel on the tip of it. So first it's got to flip over. I just thought I'd show you down, and then we'll record some more when I actually use it. All right, so here it is. Stump bucket. We're gonna try this out today, and unfortunately it won't be, on stumps. You saw just recently up here I had some stumps. I really wish I had had the stump bucket for it then, but I had to do that the old-fashioned way, and luckily it was just couple smaller ones. It wasn't anything big. So this is supposed to work pretty well. I've seen other people, of course. I went to YouTube and watched some great videos out there and people showing you some different things. And one of them that I saw, he was, transplanting trees with it. And, I just can't quite justify it. It's a lot of, at some point maybe I'll be able to justify it and I'll get one. But the backhoes on these things are really cool and useful for so many things. Most things I'm doing though isn't really major like that. Small trenches or stumps or digging some holes for trees. That's mainly what I'm doing right now. So this was fairly inexpensive, certainly compared to a backhoe. It was less than 10% of the cost of a backhoe. I went ahead and got it. I figured it'd be a useful tool to have, and certainly there are places. And I like that it has comes down to a fairly small point in the bottom, but still, good reinforced steel. And I guess if that eventually wears off, I can, have it cut off and put a new one on, welded on there. So, sorry, I'm kind of making you sideways here, but up underneath, it goes back a bit. It's welded back to about, let's see, it goes back to about here. So it's welded on there, and pretty thick steel. They're pretty sharp, actually. These little hooks, so I guess that helps. Serrated will help you kind of sawing through some of the roots as you're going, diving down and working your way around it. And but just like a backhoe, from what I've seen, you just keep working your way around, take off a layer at a time, and get deeper and deeper until you finally get the the whole thing up. So we're going to give it a try on something simple today, and that something is some beautiful cherry trees. Today, what we're looking at is putting these 2 cherry trees in the ground, and what you'll see is, it's foolish. I don't know why I didn't remember to do this, but usually you put your trees in place, you figure out exactly where you want them, look at it, you get them measured out, and then you mark them. Well, I went ahead and marked and then put the trees there. So now I put a little line through. That's not the hole I want. This is the hole I want here. And unfortunately, I don't want to tear up my new grass up there. It's finally coming in, but I'm going to put this one up here as well. And I think, I just feel like a random tree here and there. I love my little birch tree, and I'd ordered 2, but only 1 survived. I usually try to get them in pairs or more than 2. I just think that makes sense, and usually looks nice. But we're gonna have one here and one over here, and get these trees in the ground, and it'll be nice. So kind of 2 in 1 today. We get to put some trees in the ground, and we get to try out a new tool. And today. Let's get started with a stump bucket. Show you what we've got so far. Obviously I need to go a little deeper than that, but you know, and this is probably overkill for putting a little tree in the ground, but I wanted to try it out and get a little experience with it. It's kind of neat, you know, you can get up on it and then as soon as you drive forward it pushes it down in. I can't, you know, the problem with I'm learning with tractors compared to say a bobcat or skid loader is the skid loader is and bobcat stuff specifically, so you can see everything you're doing. On the tractor you just can't see what you're doing. You have to kind of stand up and look around. So you know what, but it's worth it to have so many other functions and that I can use the tractor for that I can't use the skid loader for, as well as skid loaders are expensive. So and tractors aren't cheap either, but they're a lot less, at least that I could find, than a skid loader. So I'm dig a little bit more here and see how it goes, and then I'm sure I'll get out the post hole digger and do it the old-fashioned way. So. Alright, so, you know, help loosen up some somewhat hard ground, but I just can't really see exactly what I'm doing. I guess if I could get on all sides real well, it would probably work better. But I'm going to get the post hole digger, and I probably won't use the tractor for the other side because, as you can see, it tears up your ground a bit, just, you know, pushing with the tires digging in, and I don't want to mess that up, so I'll just do that by hand up there. So maybe this wasn't a successful test. It works well for being able to get in. If I were doing a much bigger hole, I think it would save me a lot of time and energy, especially if it's really hard ground. But I'm going to keep going with this with a post hole digger, I think, and we'll see what happens and go from there. Now I've gone a lot deeper than I need to for that tree and a lot bigger, but as you can see, this stuff's all clay, so I like to give a lot of room, and I'll put really good dirt. I'll try to mix it a little bit. You've seen me do plant trees in other videos, but it seems to do a good job if you introduce it gradually into the clay. And I say clay, I mean it's dirt, but it's a clay-like dirt. So I'll put a bunch in the bottom. In fact, it looks like I got down to maybe some of the original soil down there. I see some roots and some darker soil, so I don't know how much they leveled this up when they built it. So that'll be good. And we'll put that dirt in, get the tree in, clear some of this old stuff away, and mulch it. Start on the other one. The other one I'll do by hand, but it's not a big deal. Alright, so I've got it in the ground, and you know, one of the big concerns, of course, ends up being wind. You see it gets windy here like anywhere. So I want to show you a little bit of a hack. I'll call it a hack, I guess. For one, I don't know if you've been into Lowe's or Home Depot or one of those, and you see they actually have these kits for that go around the tree and pull it 3 directions and whatever. I don't remember how much they cost, but they're a lot of money, and it's kind of silly because if you go over to the masonry department, they have this, you can get 6 stakes for $17. I think the one set of things, I feel like it was $39 or something. It was outrageous, whatever it was. So I go and I buy all of these. Used to be oak. I don't know if these don't look like oak, but you can buy 6 stakes, which that'll cover 2 trees, 3 stakes for each tree. And then I had a bunch of this leftover irrigation line that I used at one time. So I'm going to cut a few pieces of this off, and then just some very strong nylon. I used to use the twine, but it didn't even last a year, and it would rot. This stuff lasts several years, so we need to protect this tree for a while, both trees, of course. And so you'll see me just cut those pieces off, and that's what I'm doing. I wanted to kind of just show you how that's really easy. It makes a lot of sense, and gives your trees a good chance to grow straight and tall without the wind destroying them, so or breaking them off. So that's what I'm doing. Could have done it for free on the sawmill. I just was in the habit of grabbing those before I had the sawmill. So next set, I ought to get them from the saw, make them on the sawmill. There we go. Not too bad. So it'll have some spring to it. In fact, I might want to tighten that other one up a little bit because it's dropping pretty easily. But it's meant to have some play to it, move around, but not let it bend so far that it'll snap. So that will do a good job, and that's that tree. We'll get the other one in the ground and then wrap it up. So this soil, as you can see, it was really nice and easy because we've already worked it quite a bit, and it's rich. It's nice and dark. So I'm not going to make the hole very big. I don't think I need to. Down there was hard clay, which is why I wanted to use the tractor down there. I couldn't have shoveled that like this. I would have had to get the pickaxe to dig it, which is a lot more work. So anyway, I'm going to maybe make this hole just a little bit bigger, and then I'll still put in some of the nice soil around it. But I'm not, the other one was a lot bigger. This one, the soil's already kind of loose enough and it's nice and dark. The roots will go right into it nicely, so I don't really need it to be nearly as large as the other one was. So boy, I'm glad I started with the hard one first. This was easy. I'll wrap this one up in no time. This is what they're supposed to look like when they're fully bloomed, so they're going to be quite beautiful. And anyway, let's keep going. I probably should have showed you too that I had watered the trees while they're in the pot still this morning, so they were already pretty soaked. But sometimes I'll put water down in the hole before I start filling the dirt in. As you can see, this ground up here is already pretty wet and damp. It rained a little bit last night, and this was in the shade a bit, so as you saw, it just kind of built up the top. It was already fairly saturated, whereas the other one I poured it in and just kept sinking in, so no big deal, but thought I'd share that with you too. You try to create a little bit of a catch-all basin so some of the water will stay in here, and really thin right around there so that it absorbs there well, and thicker on the outside. And then I've got one other trick I'll show you too after I water. Actually, I'll get the stakes in the ground and then I'll put it on. So. My dad taught me this trick, although I don't know where he bought them from back in his day, but I get them on Amazon like everything else. These are really nice. They're protective wraps for the base of the tree, and they have holes to breathe a little bit, but they're pretty tough. They will grow with the tree, right? Because they just expand, no problem. They'll fit whatever size. and they keep the animals from scratching and chewing at the bottom of the trees. And sometimes I guess insects can be a problem too, but so of course it's nice that they put these pretty ones on at the store, but it's not going to last long. This will last more than long enough, so thought I'd at least show you. You might use these too. I think they're really helpful. You probably noticed them on the pear trees up by the driveway. Oops. A little tricky sometimes when the bottom has a little notch out like that, but you just have to kind of fiddle with it till it gets on there right. And there you go. So that keeps you know, I've seen cats claw these little trees too, and that's all it takes, and it'll be gone. You can just kill it. So I've had really good luck with these, and like I said, my dad, who had orchards, and he went to school for the stuff, and he said make sure you put them on your trees, or you might as well just flush the money down the toilet, because it probably won't make it. So those are really inexpensive. I don't know how many. I think I get 5 of those for $7 maybe. I don't know what they are. I bought them a while back, but well worth the money. Just so you can search protective tree protection, or I can't remember what they're called now. I don't have the original package, but they work great. So hopefully that's a helpful hint to you as well. All right, well, there you have it. We've got 2 trees in the ground. They look really nice. I'm excited. I think they'll really help dress this place up a little bit. I've still got a little project I'll tell you about coming up to deal with that mess over there. And but I'm just excited to have, hopefully you can see that too. There's little bits of grass coming in there. So we're, of course it didn't help that I walked all over it, but it's tough. It'll make it. Then down here I've got to do some more cleanup. I'll end up, I might end up bringing in a little bit more topsoil and put down seed and straw in here to try to clean this up. And at some point I'm going to do the whole, like I said, I think I might have started the video by saying I'll do the whole driveway at some point. So it's just going to be a little ugly for now, but everything's been a work in progress for a long time. So this guy, he's not quite as pretty. He doesn't have any flowers on it yet, but there's plenty of buds, and it'll do better. So I put the little bit scrawnier one down here because I knew this would get a lot more sun than up there, but that'll still get, you know, it's supposed to get 6 hours a day, I think, on these trees, and they'll get more than that probably because the sun comes up over here. Of course, once the trees fill in, it'll be higher in the sky before they get a lot of sun, but these guys are going to do great. I'm very happy with them. And so as far as the stump bucket, well, we'll have to do a proper review on that later. This was, I guess, just an introduction. And I'm sure we'll come across the stump soon enough, or we have some trench work to do too, so we'll do a little bit better review on that. But there are some great reviews out there, which is partly why I bought it, and why I try to do the reviews too, because I think the more people you see who have real experience hands-on with that stuff, the more confident you can feel, or the better you'll feel about, you know, making the purchase yourself. So and this was the Titan. I don't know, I think I saw another one out there too, but I wanted this one because it had the smaller, the other one had a big 6-inch and it was more flat. It kind of went straight back, whereas this one gave the wide wing spread. So I think this will meet my needs better. That's why I went with this one. I think they're about the same price. So this was, like I said, this is the Titan heavy duty, and then there's a larger one for like skid steers or big tractors too, like a really super heavy duty one, bigger than this, that does have the wider mouth on it and the big digging teeth on it too. So if you're doing real stuff like that, but for, you know, smaller stuff like I'm doing, this is working out perfect. So anyway, it's exciting. I love seeing, you can see the other tree up there too, the little white birch kind of lines up nicely as you come up the driveway. And then you get the cherries that are going to flank either side, and hopefully that'll be a really pretty welcome in the spring when people come to visit. And I'm probably just 1 year away from, I've been here a couple of years, I think, or in June will be 2 years. I've been doing these videos for a little over a year, So you've seen a lot of the progress, but this place will look, I promise, it'll look beautiful a year to a year and a half from now. I'll finally be finished with a lot of these projects, and it'll turn out real nice. So I'm super excited and just enjoying it so much. And you know, it's been a beautiful spring. Surprisingly, it's this morning it was so cold. I had a sweatshirt, and then I was putting on a winter coat and earmuffs. It was so cold. The wind was just really whipping, and it was like 40 degrees, and it felt like it was almost freezing. So I was a little bummed, but then it warmed up nicely, and it's in the mid 60s now, I think, and it feels nice. At least when you're working, it feels pretty warm. So anyway, I hope this has inspired you, given you a little bit of maybe desire to put a tree in the ground, right? I mean, trees are awesome, and they help produce oxygen. They're beautiful, and it's just it's a neat thing to watch them grow, and there's a sense of pride in it. So maybe you got inspired today, got some ideas of how to do it. Not that complicated, but it helps to see somebody else, you know, some of the little tricks people use to make sure that they come in well. So thank you so much for watching today. I appreciate your following along in the comments, and I enjoy, you know, when I see the likes, of course. It's nice to know that people are into it. Some of this stuff, you know, I got it. I'm a regular guy. I don't pretend to have, you know, stuff that's super exciting. I've seen some of these guys have some, I feel like it's pretty big equipment for me. I never expected to have a tractor, and there are some people that have some really big equipment, so it's fun to watch them too. But anyway, if you're like me, you're just getting outside, you're enjoying the fresh air, you're working, you're, you know, keeping your muscles strong and your mind strong, and enjoying the God's creation all around you, fixing things, creating things. So keep doing that. Have a fantastic week, and I look forward to bringing another video soon. And be well. Take care. Bye now.